Out of respect to the paid officer, the full-time officer, we are there to back them up. We're their second pair of eyes. We allow them to approach whatever the condition is. They can take care of it, not wondering what's going on behind them. Now, if it escalates at that point, that's what we're there for, to jump in and to make sure that that officer gets to go home that night safe and uninjured if at all possible.
Every single one of our reserves, I trust them. We train them, and we're going to make sure they're trained right before they come out and ride with us.
The benefit is just knowing that we're able to give back something to our city and be a part. And it's just like a reserve or a volunteer firefighter. A volunteer firefighter gives back to the community, and that's kind of what we do. The same type of situation. It's just an opportunity to help out.
The Ada Police Reserve Program is designed to help Ada's full-time officers on the streets. There is safety in numbers, and more officers on patrol means less chance of trouble.
I've seen a side of Ada that you don't see unless you're in that police car. And it's interesting. It's really interesting. I've got to help people. We've got to assist, of course, in the arrests. We've made the arrests. We've fought people. We've wrestled drunks. We've discovered the dope.
A reserve police officer works on a volunteer basis. There's absolutely no compensation. In fact, the reserve has to spend money to participate in the program.
When I went through it back in '99, to get outfitted completely and everything, I mean, it's close to $1,000. And on top of that, I mean, you're not getting paid. That's one thing about law enforcement. I mean, it's not a job that you take for the money. It's a job that you take because you like the work.
They supply all their own clothing, their vest if they have one, their duty gear, their duty weapon is all furnished by themselves. So I think it says a lot for them. They're doing it to I believe help the community out.
Reserve officers must complete intensive training before graduation that will last approximately 5 months. This training, while not as comprehensive as that of a full-time officer, prepares them for the reality of police work.
This is a fine muscle movement. I've got to be able to position my hand in the exact right spot in order to be able to do this. Under stress, you're going to lose at least 25% of your fine muscle ability. We want gross muscle movement. This is a gross muscle movement. We come over the top and we grab and we press it forward just like that.
They're required by law. The state of Oklahoma requires 180 hours of training. It's through CLEAT. But after the 180 hours is completed, then we move on to additional training in some areas that I feel are beneficial to an officer that's going to be out on the street.
A reserve officer, when they're on duty, has the same authority as a full-time police officer. Now, when they're off duty, they're just a private citizen. I believe when they're on duty, they need to have the same authority that we have.
Sure, it's just as dangerous for a reserve officer while they're on duty as a full-time officer. A reserve officer is going to be out on the street, and they're going to be coming in contact with the same dangers as anyone else. I mean, we're like Minutemen. I mean, you think about it yourself. You're a private citizen, and you're laying in bed, and all of a sudden you're asked to not be a private citizen anymore. You're asked to be an officer that's on the street and handling the calls. I mean, that's a big step in a hurry. You're laying there sound asleep, and the next thing you know, it's like you're supposed to step up to the plate and be an officer and take those full responsibilities.
I think our reserves are very valuable for us and the community. They're another set of eyes when they're with us, and they're also another line of communication with the community, because most of them are just part-time, and they're business owners, and they have they have lines of communication through the community that sometimes we don't have.
In the summer of 2005, 10 new reserve officers should hit the streets, bringing the city's total to 18. They will accompany the full-time officers on their beats, making Ada a safer place to live.
I believe it does. Not only does it help keep the citizens of Ada safer, it helps us full-time police officers be a little bit safer too. It never hurts to have an extra set of eyes, watching your back, because a lot of times on traffic stops or different calls that we go on, we deal with multiple suspects or persons, and it always helps to have that extra set of eyes.
it's a real rewarding feeling, and it's not so much for me, is the fact that I think that I'm helping those other officers and even the citizens of Ada. It's a wonderful feeling to help a child that's out there crying because something's happened to their mom or daddy, they're lost. It's a wonderful feeling to help a woman that's possibly just been battered just a little bit, you know, and it's just a good feeling to know that you're there. They're relying on you. You're a, in a sort, you're a savior at that point, you know. So it's real rewarding both for me and I hope for the other officers that we're helping.
The Ada Police Department is much better off with the reserve program, as well as the citizens of Ada.